You gotta hand it to Bo Duke, aka John Schneider. He managed to get the attention of White House occupant Joe Biden. What he said was in a post, I think it was on Twitter X or somewhere on social media. He said, "Mr. President," this is a quote, "I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. Your son, too. Your response is ... question mark, sincerely, John Schneider." And that's the end of the quote. Now, I want to ask you this question. Does anybody take this seriously? Do you think that John Schneider really wants to see Joe Biden hung publicly for treason? Well, maybe. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to be investigated. But you got to keep in mind that this is not something new. Do you remember when Donald Trump was first elected, or maybe it was during the 2016 campaign, that Kathy What's-Her-Face Griffin held up a head, a severed head of Donald Trump, and that caused a media uproar. But I don't know. Maybe she was investigated, but I don't know that she was. But John Schneider, this is a little bit different. Now, what I see here is, I got to tell you, I'm kind of on the fence on this. I can see that obviously this is an attempt to censor people from saying harsh things. But on the other hand, well, what if they don't investigate and it turns out that Schneider has a unpredicted mental disorder and he actually tries to do something? Now, I don't think that's going to happen. What we see here, I mean, it's possible, so they have to investigate, and that's my point. But what we see here, in my humble opinion, is just one more effort at shutting us up, at censorship. The problem the left has, the woke left has, is people who are not left-wing moonbats have this odd capacity of actually using reason and sanity, and they can think. And sometimes after they think, they say what they think. And that just totally demolishes the woke left because they don't think, but they still say what they don't think. And it comes out kind of stupid because, well, when you don't think and you talk at the same time, it sounds stupid. And so the only way for them not to look stupid is to remove that comparison. Because when patriots talk and the woke left talks, people are bound to compare the two, and they're going to say the woke left is talking nonsense. And so if they shut us up, well, maybe they look better because there's nothing to compare them to. Well, they're still going to talk nonsense, but I think most people would see through it. But some people won't, but that's just the way they think. So it's all about censorship. Now, speaking of censorship, I got to be careful what I say here because back in the day, which wasn't that long ago, what was it, the 1980s, that John Schneider and his buddies were driving around Kentucky in a Dodge Charger with a Confederate flag on the top, and nobody thought a thing of it. It was kind of cute. It was benign. Nobody got all upset about it. But this is an illustration of how the woke left can get inside our heads and make us think things that we never would have thought without them meddling with our minds. They're brain meddlers. So they convinced a lot of people that the Confederate flag was either evil, or they made it so controversial that people are afraid to fly it. Now, I got to admit, I've got one on my pickup truck. I'm not all that sympathetic, and this is not something I would normally do, but since the woke left said, you can't talk about this, yes, I can. I put it on my pickup truck just to, I hate to say aggravate, because I'm not trying to provoke anybody. I'm just saying, look, I'm above this. You're not going to be able to convince me that I can't say what I want to say, where and when I can say it. Now, there's some things you can't say on YouTube. Well, it's their house rules. So as long as I'm in their house, I'm going to abide by their rules, and I would expect them to do the same thing in my house. I'm okay with that. Not real okay with it, but I understand how those rules play. But the fact of the matter is, this is all about censorship. Demonizing the Confederate flag when Comedy Central took Dukes of Hazzard off their lineup. It was a fun show, even though I never watched it. I saw little snips of it. I thought it was Yeah, I thought it was corny, to be honest with you. But a lot of people loved it, but they took it off in spite of the fact that people wanted to watch it because they're bullied. I mean, the advertisers were bullied. If you advertise on Comedy Central, we're going to boycott. This is what they were saying. We're going to boycott your products. I don't know if they would have that much of an impact, but it was enough to get Comedy Central to take that show off their, off their lineup. And who knows? Maybe there were some woke leftites working at Comedy Central, and they actually agreed. And they thought the Confederate flag was somehow evil, monstrous. But this is all about censorship. It's all about how the far left meddles with our mind, tries to get us to think their way, and they do have measured success, I'm sad to say. But you got to keep in mind, folks, that I really don't think, and again, I could be wrong here, but I really don't think that John Schneider merits an investigation other than just, covering their rear end because, well, who knows, something might happen. And just in case they're going to do it. But no, I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a good guy. And something else. Another reason they really don't like this guy is, remember Roseanne Barr? She was a left-wing moonbat, but then she came to her senses. I was going to say she changed sides, but she came to her senses, same thing. And they just, they just buried her. They let her have it. Remember Tim Allen? I think he was one of the last people to have a decent, family-oriented comedy show, comedy serial on network television. And again, they went after him. So anytime anybody in Hollywood acts a little bit conservative, unless they're, been there a long time and they've already established themselves and they're retired, then there's no point going after him. James Wood is another one. Is it James Wood or James Woods? I never know. But I think it's James Wood. Very conservative, very patriotic. See him on Twitter all the time. But they're trying to shut these people up. Now, here's the final caveat to this. The fact that they are giving John Schneider, Duke, so much notability, the fact that they're, plastering this all over the media, is giving him a tremendous amount of free advertising. I mean, if you were to try to buy this much advertising, this much public relations, it would cost you millions and millions and millions of dollars. He's getting it for free, and his point of view is getting across, even though they put it in very derogatory senses. All right, well, this is the end of the video, and if you don't mind, I'm going to go out and buy me an orange Dodge Charger and paint a Confederate flag on the top of it and see what happens. Well, what's going to happen is, no, I'm not going to do that. If you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, brand new YouTube channel. Hardly anybody watches it, so we need all the help we can get from you. Give it a thumbs up, the video that is. And if you don't mind sharing this on social media, X, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, so that we can start getting some followers, start getting some viewers, more viewers on this channel.